When we first started, it was like, we were struggling. I'm not going to lie, I left school at 15, and I just remember my dad once saying, do you know what I mean, we can't do this, as we are. So, my name's Jack. I'm the gelato maker for Tagg Lane Dairy. I also help my dad on the farm as well. I've been going since 2017, but before that we was bottling raw milk. When we were bottling raw milk, we realised that there was a bit of a sort of a market, so we decided to invest in ice cream, and it weren't until I went to university in Italy to learn how to make ice cream, it went to sort of a next level, and since then we're sort of an established business in the Peak District. This is all new for us, the robot. It's got a little infrared laser. So first what it does is it detects each quarter first, so it knows the alignment, and after every milking it saves that into the database. So if you look at this computer on here, it'll tell you, how much litres it's given on each quarter, and it can also detect things like, cell count and back to scan, things like that. But if you look in there, that's the milk that's just come from that cow. We're still finishing it off because we want it visible to the public.
So you're giving the entire experience?
Yeah, the milk's our main thing, do you know what I mean? And that's what gives our ice cream the edge. And obviously because we're organic as well, we just want to make folks see that our practice is really top notch. And you can see it dropping in the tank. It'll then pump it through these pipes. It goes into the bulk tank, which is in the dairy. It'll then clean this jar and all the pipe work. Yeah, so you can see that's pre-cleaning. So it's sprayed detergent on that roll, and it's cleaning each quarter. They get corn as well, so they're getting fed while they're getting milked. Just swing it back. Now they're putting the unit on, so you can see it scanning. Instead of us getting up in morning, you're basically pushing them to be milked. Whereas now it's like, I'll go in, I'll get some corn. Do you know what I mean? It's like going to the hair salon, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's not a chore for them anymore. There's only so many you can put through a robot. We're aiming for 70. So yeah, we're still sort of building those numbers up to that amount. We just want a manageable number, and just look after them really well, and do you know what I mean, maintain them as best we can. Yeah, so this way. These are the sort of old lot. These are probably about 5-6 months. These are all, reared off some of the cows that were in that shed we just saw. If you come this way, these are a lot younger. These are that's weeks, basically old, and then these are a bit older there. We're still suckling these so we keep the calves on the cows, and then once they get older, we then take them off and then put it onto milk replacer, just to get them onto corn, and then they're away.
Tell us a little bit more about the history, the pedigree of these cows.
Yeah. As I say, they're all pedigree. My dad's been buying jerseys from Denmark. Now their genetics are way ahead of what's in this country. And he's literally got some there's a company that sells, as daft as it sounds, they sell semen. It's called Viking Genetics, and he's got some of the top genomic cows, and they've basically come into contact with us saying, whatever these cows, we want to flush them, and obviously have their embryos to be then transplanted in other cows. So the genetics here at Tagg Lane is some of the best genetics in the breed of jerseys. That's why we've got people from Dubai, do you know what I mean, looking at us cows, because we've got good genetics here. So just for you guys, because you're unfamiliar with what actually happened on dairy practices, but basically now there's something called artificial insemination. So what that is when a cow comes into heat, obviously if you can have a stock bull, you can get them in calf that way, or you can, if you've got a really good quality heifer and you want to put a really good quality bull onto that heifer, you then buy a straw of a bull, which could be, say, in America, it could be in Canada, and you put that straw on your best cow, and it's just keeping the genetics do you know what I mean, the best as possible. So yeah, you basically get a catalogue nowadays, and it tells you, you know, what the legs are like, what the teat placement's like, profit index, so how much profit it'll make extra on that cow. So it's really technical. You know, you can make it as technical as you want it to, really.
So this Dubai Emir heard about the cows and decided to give you guys a visit. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So two guys, they're supposed to be like princes or something, I have no idea. There were two of them, they had a bodyguard, and then they took the vet as well with them, and they were just there with the checkbook, basically.
Really?
yeah. So yeah. So we're fourth generation dairy farmers, and you know, my dad, you know, he was born next door. They've also lived in the village, but this side of the farm was built in 1996. And that's the day you know, that was the year I was born. So like all this, it's fairly modern. Do you know what I mean? It's not too old. And then this side, this is all new development. You know, this used to be a corn shed, which we obviously redesigned into a gelateria. When we first started, it was like, you know, we were struggling. I'm not going to lie. Like, you know, I left school at 15. I was just, do you know what I mean, on the farm. And I just remember my dad once saying, like, do you know what I mean, we can't do this like as we are. But yeah, we started bottling us milk, and that just started with a jug, getting out at the bottom of the tank, 20 bottles in a fridge. Didn't even think it was going to work. It was like sort of desperation job almost. And then folks started coming, and it was like, you know, folk want, do you know what I mean, the milk how it used to be. We just sort of took that, ran with it, and just got a milk filler and just scaled it up a little bit. And now we sell it online all the way around the UK. You can get it next day. That's from taglanedairy.com. This is the production unit, so this is where all the ice cream's made. So every single batch we set, we've got to take the records for, especially when selling out. You've got, like, you know, batch numbers, so you take the batch numbers of your sugars and everything like that, and obviously going with the HACCP plan, so you know we're dead strict on all that sort of stuff. I've got a mix actually going in here, so this is a base mix. So as I say, with ice cream you can make it two different ways. You can make every recipe, you know, unique to itself. So we've got some recipes such as like pistachio or hazelnut, which is naturally higher in fat. If you put too much cream in like a base of the mix and you add pistachio to it, there'll be too much fat. You'll be going over the threshold to make it a product, you know, which is as light like gelato. So the difference between gelato and ice cream is, number one, the overrun, which is the air in the product. So gelato is about 25% air, ice cream's up to 100% air, and then the fat difference is gelato is normally about 7-8% fat, whereas ice cream's 10% and over. So yeah, this is our white base. So this makes like our ripple flavours. This is like in the middle, so we can add a little bit of fat, but as I say, we can't do nut flavours with this mix. So this is a pasteuriser. This is a bit bigger, so this can do 60 litre, and then this has got a pasteuriser on the top which can do enough for one pan. So yeah, so if I want to do a chocolate, I could do a chocolate in this, just the one pan, or I can upscale that chocolate and do, say, 60 litres of chocolate. But you see, like, you know, the white base is flexible if you want to produce in speed, whereas this takes a lot longer. Because this is 4 degrees, it'll take about, say, 8 minutes. But if it was heated up to 85, when it drops down from the top barrel to the bottom, it'll take about, say, 20 minutes. With the chocolate, so we've got our Great Taste winning chocolate is a 70% couverture, and it's also using cocoa powder to make it a bit more darker. We've got a milk chocolate, which is obviously, we drop the cocoa percentage down, and we've got like a milk chocolate couverture as well. And then we've got obviously white chocolate, we've got blonde chocolate. So we do like 4 chocolates in the cabinet during the summer. Looks like that's ready. What I'll do is I'll stop it, I'll open the door for you, and you can look at the sort of what the process is like when you're making ice cream. So as you say, like, the coldness is going round the barrel, and obviously it's constantly putting a layer of the mix on the outside, and then it's adding air at the same time. Do you know what I mean? That's our just Jersey Gold flavour. I'll just extract it and then. So as I say, the more solids, the thicker it is. You don't want to put too much solids in there, so it won't scoop, so it won't be soft to scoop. So as I say, there's parameters to make a good ice cream. So if you can try and stick to those parameters as best as you can. But sometimes you can push the boundaries with certain flavours. But at the end of the day, like the sugars in the ice cream is the antifreeze. So obviously the more sugars you have in your mix, the softer it is. And the more solids, the harder it is. So like your chocolate is more difficult to make because there's so many more solids in the mix, which is usually why you add a few more sugars in to make it more scoopable. Yeah, we just comes out of the machine at -8. You want to blast freeze it down to -12. The air is being blasted at the product. So about 10 minutes in there, and then it's fit for the cabinet. Yeah, so from around 2013, that's when we first started, bottling the milk. And as I say, we was filling 20 bottles by hand. Nothing fancy, just a fridge on an honesty pot, so folk sort of helped themselves. And yeah, it sort of went on from there. Once we knew there was a market for it, as I say, I love my ice cream, and we decided what else is better than, do you know what I mean, a Jersey ice cream in the summer. And that's what sort of kick-started all of this. So we haven't gone like this straight from the start. We used to have a little 8 flavour cabinet with the lids on, and I say we just added bits as we've gone along. So this is the seating area for the customers at the moment. It's a conservatory. We are planning on having an extra seating through the other end. So 2019 was the first year we decided to enter the Great Taste, and then obviously our vanilla won something and the chocolate won a 2-star as well. Since then I've just been entering every year, and I've just been sort of, every time I enter I seem to get either a 1 or a 2-star. So I think I've got a total of 15 stars altogether, but I've never had that 3-star. The only problem is I think a big problem is like you make it here and you freeze it and then you send it to London. And like say if I was based in London, if I could have dropped it off, do you know what I mean, fresh, I think that just gives it a bit of an edge.
Tell us a little bit more about your future plans, both short term and long term.
Okay, well, short term, just, do you know what I mean, keep going on and manage to get through the summer coming up, because we've had a good summer last season. We're sort of going on to a sort of 5th year as an ice cream producer. So it's just sort of like we're sort of getting towards us peak really, and if we keep going on at the same rate, maybe open outlets, I think that's the place to go further on. But I just want to make here a really good experience, and hopefully the word of mouth keeps going round too.
Any new flavours in the pipeline?
There's always new flavours. I think at the minute we do a total like. We must go over 60 flavours in total in our catalogue. But what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to hone it down to 24, and that's based off things that are popular. So because we've been going for 5 years now, I've got a rough idea of what people like the most, and that's usually the sort of rich ones like your Bueno, your Snickers, which is peanut butter. So this is the raw milk. So this is in everything we sort of do. Ooh. But yeah, you can see on the top, you can see the layer of cream. I mean, if you look inside the fridge, you can see that cream layer there. So that much is the cream. So as I say, in our recipe for the ice cream, we don't need to add hardly any cream because it's in the milk itself. And as I say, we've got the Soil Association logo to prove that we're certified organic with the Soil Association. So yeah, that's sort of the backbone of everything we do.
How much do you sell it for?
The milk, £2.50 for a 2 litre. So yeah, I'll give you a closer look of a range of ice creams in the other end now. Yeah. we're in the ice cream parlour now. This is our cabinet. So as I say, we've got 24 flavours to choose from when it's fall in the summer. The cones are from Italy. As I say, you can't really beat their cones. There you go. Right guys, I hope you've enjoyed the tour of Tagg Lane Dairy. Be sure to follow us on social media, and yeah, hopefully we'll see you again soon for our award-winning gelato flavours here at Tagg Lane Dairy.